Yo, and we are live here in the Africa Cup of Nations. Welcome. I'll be your host and presenter, Dashiki Dash. And I thought I'll just open the floor right now and go live and just, recap the day in itself. What a day. I've been looking forward to this tournament for the longest time. Obviously, it got delayed last year in 2021 during the summertime, but they've rescheduled the tournament so that we can obviously experience it. And then we've got it here in January. And what a day to start off with. Cameroon versus Burkina Faso. That ended 2-1. The tournament host, obviously won today. And like I said in my previous show, it's like if you got the host and they're doing well, the tournament is going to be very good. So I enjoyed that game. And then the following game after that was Ethiopia versus Cape Verde, and that ended 1-0 to Cape Verde. And I'll go through the games and obviously go through the reactions of the games and recap the games. But before I start on that, make sure that you like and subscribe. I'm going to be going through all the games throughout this tournament. I've never watched a AFCON tournament from start to end. Never. So this is going to be a fantastic experience for myself, and just be able to discover new talent, new names coming out of Africa or just worldwide in itself. Obviously, we are familiar with, if you watch the Premier League, you are familiar with your Manes, your, Riyad Mahrez, your Salahs, and all those kind of players there. But there's a load of players across. Oh, cut out there. There's a lot of players across the world that we don't get to experience. So it's one tournament that I would say, if you're getting into football, you're getting into tournament football, and you're not just going after the bait names, this is a great tournament to obviously keep your eye on. So today was the day one of the tournament itself, and what a day with the opening ceremony. And many a times, I'm always thinking to myself, we've obviously had one experience of having the World Cup in South Africa. Who remembers that, all the vuvuzelas and all of that kind of stuff? But the vibe of that tournament, I'm telling you, the vibe of that tournament, probably, well, we're now 2022. Many World Cups have gone by since then, and you still can't match that vibe. Obviously, the world is a lot different now. So, tournaments such as itself now, we're seeing AFCON. You're not really getting that many fans there, but there's still a strong vibe. You're going to be getting, fans dancing. You're going to be seeing different colors of different nations in the tournament on this time around. So I'm looking forward to it. And the opening ceremony did not disappoint. We had like music, dancing, all in African style, Afro beats, African music. It was a really good opener. And like I said, the match did not disappoint as well. So going into Cameroon versus Burkina Faso, and Cameroon were tipped to be, one of the favorites, seeing that it's on home soil. They've not lost there for God knows how many games. Like I would say, well, over about 10 years, 15 years or so, they've not lost at home. They may have lost home matches when they play in neutral grounds and stuff like that, but at home in Cameroon, they've not lost. So they have been tipped to be one of the favorites. My favorite for the tournament is Senegal. They lost that to Algeria in the last AFCON, 1-0, and they were going ham throughout the tournament, but then they lost that to Algeria 1-0. So that in itself, I reckon a lot of their players as well at this particular time have peaked as well, man. You got Edouard Mendy, you've got Salah, you've got so many of household Premier League names, and also Koulibaly of Napoli out there in Italy. So there are a lot of players that they've got that right now, this is their golden era. Like England used to have, used to be saying, oh, England have got a golden era. This is their golden era. Now, it's all good having that golden era, but you've got to, take full advantage of that. So, yeah, man, without further ado, obviously I'll go into the Cameroon game. It was a good game, good way to start off. there was a lot of pressure on Cameroon to start this game. And I think there is a lot of pressure for the host country because, you're thinking to yourself, man, we've got to perform. We don't want to let the nation down. And then, Lord and behold, yeah, but they went one, they went 1-0 down, and that kind of silenced the crowd. Um, Sangari scored it in the 24th minute, and it was a real goal scrap. Onana's back in goal as well for Cameroon after his lengthy ban due to taking drugs, or if he failed a drugs test. But he was back in goal, and he was looking decent. He was looking decent. A few errors here and there, but he's still a top goalkeeper. But anyway, Sangari scored for Burkina Faso. And one thing I will say is, yeah, I was so disappointed because I'm looking out for this. When you're watching AFCON, you wait for the team to score, and then you're waiting for that dance. You're waiting for that group dance, that team dance. And then Burkina Faso just went to the side, and it's like they weren't coordinated. I don't know, man. Maybe they didn't practice it, but it was a shambles. So that's a shout out to any of these African nations. Please make sure that you got things in sync, yeah, synchronize, get the dances sorted, because you got a lot to live up to. But anyway, so Sangari scores 1-0 for Burkina Faso, and then the best way I can describe the defending was shambolic, man. Real deal shambolic defending. Cameroon got a penalty, literally. Player got taken down in the box, and then Abubakar steps ice cold on the penalties. I love seeing penalties like this, man. No worries. When like England are stepping up for penalties and stuff, you see like the worry in their face, like they're scared. This guy wasn't scared. And remember, this is your home country as well that you're playing at. So there is a lot of pressure, but he steps up, slots it away to the goalkeeper's left, his right, and then it was 1-1. Then, these things, you're waiting for penalties, you don't get one, but you get two. Cameroon gets another penalty in the match. Abubakar obviously steps up, and once again, this is now where you as a player, you need to figure out where you're going to slot it. Goalkeeper also is, he's figured you out because you've taken the first penalty. So it was a battle of minds at that particular point. But like I said, ice cold. Abubakar steps up and slots it to the keeper's right this time. So he's left, and that's 2-1. But there was plenty of other chances during the game. I did feel that Burkina Faso, as I mentioned in my previous show, Burkina Faso are a very, very tough team, man. Very, very tough team throughout AFCON history. I've not watched like tournaments from the start to the end, but for whatever I've managed to watch, I've always noticed that Burkina Faso are a very, very strong team. I think even maybe 2 AFCONs ago, they finished quarterfinalists, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, it was always going to be a tough game for Cameroon, but they managed to win. And yeah, man, celebrations. The country is happy. Remember, they got Samuel Eto'o now, in charge of footballing, everything in terms of football in Cameroon. And hopefully, if he's able to big up Cameroon and bring Cameroon to a state of where they can start producing top talent once again. And that's all that's really needed from African nations, man. You just got to get someone in that's really going to be handling, like you need to like a proper FA, football association, to be able to handle business and be able to set, new institutions, infrastructures. But that will take time. Hopefully he gets enough time to do that. And then if he does a good job, maybe it can filter on to other countries, because I will say that's pretty much what's missing out in Africa. Just some structure, because the talent is there, man. The talent is there to be seen, but just need that structure. So that was the first game, a really good game to watch. I didn't manage to watch the Ethiopia game versus Cape Verde live, but I managed to catch the highlights, and it seemed like a decent game. But there was a few like horror moments for Ethiopia. They got a man sent off, but it was under review first. So it was a last man, last challenge, and then the referee just given a yellow card. But then it must have been a VAR moment, and then the referees then jumped or ran to the screen. He's gone to check it out. But one thing I will say, so just to go back in the Cameroon, Burkina Faso, there was an opportunity, there was a chance that Cameroon had, and Abubakar was on his hat trick. He's obviously taken a shot, goal, but then it was drawn for offside. But they went and reviewed it on VAR. Now, the VAR took about, God knows, it took about 5 minutes. So I'm glad that they got VAR in the AFCON, but I just wish if they're able to, just speed up the process a little bit more, and then everything will be fine. So it's not a gripe against VAR, but it's just the way it's used. And that's the only thing. That's my only complaint about that. Just use it accordingly, use it properly, and then it's all good. So the next game, like I said, it was Ethiopia versus Cape Verde. Cape Verde won 1-0. Tavares scored just before Tavares scored just before half time, and it was set up by Rodriguez. And it was a decent game. Nothing to really shout about. Like I said, I watched the highlights. Probably watching it live would have been better, but from the highlights, it looked like it was a decent game. But all you just need to do, especially in tournament football, if you are gaining your points, you're gaining your 3 points, then you're on route to trying to win the trophy in itself. And it's always going to be difficult to come back from the first loss. Ethiopia didn't look like they were a really strong team. They may struggle, but you got to be in it to win it, and try your best in order to get to at least the quarterfinals, semifinals. And like I said, with Cameroon being the hosts of the tournament, and that is pretty much going to be their aim to go forward, because like I said, man, you need the hosts there, man. They're going to create the vibe. Anytime you see a tournament and the hosts leave the tournament, you think just the vibe is dead, and it's one of those ones. But just moving on, in terms of players to look out for, if you watch my previous show, I mentioned a load of Premier League players that are now in AFCON. And before I get into that, actually, there was something that I read earlier on today. So this is a bit of breaking news. It is a dash of sports. But the news is, the way the AFCON tournament is set up, they are not playing no games. Now, we are in this pandemic situation. So if people get ill, sick, if they have to isolate, they got to take time away from their squads. We all know that's, the protocols. But, the AFCON setup are saying that if you are deciding not to play your games, it will go down as a forfeit, and it will go down as a 2-0 forfeit. If you wish to obviously continue to play your game, you have to field an 11. You have no choice. So, for example, if your goalkeepers are out and you ain't got no goalkeeper, guess what? And if you want to play the game, you're going to have to put a player in goal. This is like some school business. Remember back in the days in school, it's just like, boy, you ain't got no keeper. No one wants to go and goal. You just got to put someone in goal. So, I don't know. There's a part of me that kind of agrees, but at the same time, you don't want to mess up the tournament, in it. Obviously, it's to no fault of the tournament organizers, AFCON, CAF. It's not their fault, but they cannot delay any matches. You can't defer any matches. You can't play at a later date, because there's already a fixture pile up all across the leagues around the world. And it's going to be a difficult situation, but it is going to actually be quite interesting. I feel so anyway. Imagine like someone like Salah has to go and goal, or Riyad Mahrez, or we've seen it before. We've seen it before when top players decide that they want to go and goal. But yeah, that's going to be, hopefully, fingers crossed, it's not a situation where a load of players start getting ill, and then obviously are not able to play. But it's just the way of the world right now. This is what we're dealing with, and it cannot be avoided at this particular time. But I am very thankful. I'm sure a load of people are very thankful in regards to the tournament being played. And like I said, just fingers crossed that it goes all swimmingly well. And it's a situation where, nothing of that kind happens. Yeah, just obviously going back to the top players and players to look out for. I think in terms of the way I'm seeing the tournament, I I want to be surprised. I want to see a name that I've not heard of, and it pops up, and I'll be like, yeah, this is a player now I'm going to be looking out for. Um, that's what I'm looking forward to in this tournament. In terms of the top players, I'll go more like in terms of top goal scorers. The ones that I'm looking out for, top goal scorers, because I like, I'm a kind of a striker man myself in terms of I like to see the strikers get all the glory and stuff. But I think the top goal scorer for me, if I was to give my prediction, I would say Ben Halar of Ajax, formerly of West Ham. He's been banging in the goals in the Champions League. He's got 10 goals already. Um, and then I think it's just a usual suspects, really, like Salah. He looks like he's just gonna take off from where he left off with Liverpool. Who else? Who else? This one's a bit of a cheat because I didn't mention his name previously in terms of like previous conversations or whatnot. But Abubakar looks like Abubakar of Cameroon looks like he is hungry for goals. He looks like he's hungry for goals. And so that's going to be very interesting because in today's match, man, he was and imagine in your first game already, you're off with 2 goals. If he had the hat in, it would have been he would have been on his way to try and get that golden boot. So it's going to be very interesting to see. I reckon after the first round of games, we'll kind of have a clearer indication on who's really up for this golden boot. So it's going to be very interesting. My predictions of who would win the tournament. If you watch my previous show, I was very, very much confident, I would say, with my choice being Senegal. I'm still going to stick by that. I do feel and believe the likes of Cameroon will give it a good shot. And then your usual suspects like Algeria, can't discount them. Morocco's also been touted as one of the favorites. So that's going to be very interesting to see. You've obviously got the likes of Egypt as well, that are Salah's there, so he looks like he could be hungry for the tournament as well. And then what about the likes of Nigeria? I know that Ghana at the moment isn't the best Ghana that we've seen, but they've still got the likes, of the EU brothers. They've still got, the Thomas Partey and some young bucks as well in Ghana. I think one of them plays it for Leipzig. I do forget the name, but if you do know the name, just put the comments down below and give me a nice reminder. So there's gonna be a load of teams really, really fighting for this tournament, and I feel like more than ever we've got more household names in the AFCON. So there's gonna be a load of players that you are gonna recognize. So this is why I'm saying, just try and catch the matches, try and watch them and keep up with the tournament itself, because you won't be disappointed. I've been looking forward to this tournament for the longest time. Like I said, it was meant to be last year in the summer, but because of the most countries going under lockdown and most big events were cancelled, so we didn't get that. We got it this time around. And it's funny enough as well, because there's been a lot of complaints in regards to the tournament being in January. But as far as I remember, back in the days, AFCON always seemed to be around the January times. African players always used to leave in and around this time. So I think they tried to switch it up, it being in the summer in the last AFCON. So, but apart from that, it's going to be a very, very good tournament. Like I said, I was waiting for it. Match day one has gone by already. and the next games will be coming up. Just obviously check out the groups. If I go into the groups itself, it's going to be very interesting to see who's lining up in each group. So let's just check out the groups. Here we go. So Group A, we have Cameroon, Cape Verde, Burkina Faso, and Ethiopia. Then we've got Group B, which has got Guinea, Malawi, Senegal. I'm tipping them to be the champions, and Zimbabwe. And then we have a debutant in the tournament in Group C, Comoros, which I didn't actually know. And this is the good thing. Like, I know I'm quite good with my geography, but I didn't know about Comoros, which is a small island off the continent of Africa. Then you got Gabon, Aubameyang. Hopefully, he's able to find his feet in this tournament and use it as a catalyst to get back, into form and get back to scoring. Because, boy, during the games today, as you guys know, I'm an Arsenal fan, and it was, it was a bit bad day, sad day. Also losing to Nottingham Forest in the FA Cup, and we could have done with a inform Aubameyang today. So hopefully he finds his feet. You got Ghana in the group, as I said, and you got Morocco. And then in Group D, we've got Egypt, Guinea-Bissau, Nigeria, and Sudan. No disrespect, but in this group here, Sudan are kind of seen as the whipping boys. So hope, you got the likes of Egypt in there, Nigeria. There's going to be a load of strikers in there that's going to be looking to really show out against teams like Sudan. Then you got Group E, the current champions, the kings of AFCON, Algeria. Then you got Cote d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast, and then you got Equatorial Guinea. And Sierra Leone. I believe this is Sierra Leone's first time, or the first time in a while, maybe 20 years or so, if I'm not mistaken, that they're been back in the tournament itself. So shout out Sierra Leone, all my Sierra Leone brothers and sisters out there, shout you out. And then Group F, you got Gambia, Mali, Mauritiana. Have I got that right? Please. Hopefully I ain't butchered the name. And then you got Tunisia. So those are all the groups. Obviously, you can go online. You can check it out on a Dash of Sports, whether it be the Twitter or Instagram. Go and check it out. That's where I will be updating the scores, all the trending stories, hot topics, everything. So that's literally what I'm going to be covering. And that's the groups itself. So it's going to be very interesting to see what is going to happen throughout this tournament. When is the next fixture? Let's see. All right. So Group B, the next game, which is going to be tomorrow, which is Monday, the 10th of January, we've got Senegal versus Zimbabwe. And that's at 1:00. You can watch these matches. They are being broadcasted on Sky and I believe BBC. Sky, BBC, for those that are obviously in the UK. Obviously across the world, you can watch Sky as well. But if you're anywhere, other countries, I'm sure you've got, I think, like B in Sports. If you stream it, you stream it. You do what you want, man. So that's at 1:00 UK time. And then we've got Guinea versus Malawi, which is 4:00. Also, 4:00, we have Morocco versus Ghana. And we then got at 7:00 the late kickoff, Comoros versus Gabon. So man, going to be very interesting. I am going to try my best, obviously, watch a load of the games. Obviously, the 4:00 game has got two games playing at the same time. That's Guinea versus Malawi and Morocco versus Ghana. So I'll probably watch the Morocco game versus Ghana. And then obviously the late kickoff of Comoros versus Gabon. Try and keep up with that. Regardless of the fact, I will still keep you lot updated with the score lines. Like I did mention, you can come and check me out on a Dash of Sports. That whether that be the Instagram or the Twitter, that's where I'll give you all the I'll update you with all the hot topics and trending stories. And on this occasion, when it comes to the tournament, I'll be updating you with the scores and so forth and so forth. So with that being said, that is day one of the AFCON recap. Hopefully you watched the games and you enjoyed it. And like I said, we've got games on Monday, so do not hesitate to watch it because you will be enjoying yourself with that. With that, that's it really. My first live on a Dash of Sports Africa Cup of Nations AFCON show. And until the next time here on the Dash of Sports, peace.